Welcome to Build Strong Habits podcast channel. Sit back, relax, take your eyes off the screen, and listen. Just listen to this audio podcast, and let's start building habits that transform our life.
Okay, ready for a deep dive into something kind of unexpected. Today we're going to explore some wisdom from Batman and the Joker.
Yeah, we're talking finding balance using these two.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. They're like total opposites, right? Good versus evil, order, chaos.
Exactly, but that's what makes this so interesting. Their dynamic actually says a lot about finding that equilibrium in our own lives.
Yeah, it's almost like they're like two sides of the same coin.
Right. You've got the Joker with his unpredictable, chaotic nature, and then you have Batman, completely disciplined and unwavering.
So how do we even begin to find balance using those two as examples?
Well, let's start with the Joker. He might seem like pure chaos, but, he actually highlights something important about accepting reality. He's all about letting go of control, embracing the imperfection of it all. Of course, we're not saying, go full Joker.
Yeah, I was just thinking that we don't want people running around causing mayhem. But I see what you mean. There's got to be a lesson in there somewhere, right?
Absolutely. Think about it this way. How much stress do we create by trying to control every single thing? The Joker, as extreme as he is, reminds us to loosen our grip sometimes, to accept that life is going to throw curveballs.
It's like he's saying, hey, why stress over stuff you can't control?
Exactly. Embrace the unexpected. And there's a certain freedom in that surrender, that it lets us detach from these rigid expectations and just be present.
Okay, so the Joker's telling us to loosen up and just accept what is. But then we've got Batman. He seems like the king of control and order. So where does he fit into this whole balance thing?
Well, Batman's discipline isn't about suppressing chaos. It's more like channeling it. Think about his backstory. The guy went through immense trauma, but instead of letting it destroy him, he took that pain and turned it into a purpose.
So he harnessed that energy and made it into something powerful.
Exactly. Batman shows us the power of focused action, of using discipline and routine to not only build resilience, but achieve things we never thought possible.
That actually reminds me of when I was training for a half marathon. I remember how tough it was to stick to the schedule. Wanted to hit snooze, skip a run, But then I started focusing on how good it felt to finish each workout. And that feeling kept me going.
I love that. And it highlights something really important. Discipline isn't about deprivation. It's about giving yourself the power to reach your full potential. It's about finding that inner strength to push past those limitations.
So we've got the Joker saying, accept what is, and we've got Batman showing us the power of discipline. Two totally different approaches, but both essential in their own way. So does that mean we need both of these forces in the world? In ourselves, like to really thrive?
That is the question, isn't it? Do we need that little bit of the Joker's unpredictability to challenge the norm and a little bit of Batman's focus to, create stability?
It's like they represent these fundamental forces, chaos and order, that are constantly at play. Maybe finding balance in life is about learning to kind of dance between those two extremes.
That is a beautiful way to put it. It's about finding that sweet spot where we can embrace the unexpected while also honing the discipline to achieve our goals.
So how do we actually do that? How do we find that balance within ourselves?
That's what we'll dive into next. We'll explore some practical steps for integrating both of those seemingly opposite forces, chaos and order, into our own lives. Finding that balance, it's a journey, doesn't happen overnight. But the good news is there are things we can do, concrete steps to start, integrating those Joker and Batman energies.
Okay, I'm listening. What do we, like, dress up as Batman and start patrolling the streets at night? I'm kidding.
I wouldn't recommend that. But it is interesting you mentioned that. Batman's dedication to his mission, that can actually teach us something about purpose, What about you? What are you passionate about? What gives you that sense of direction?
That's a good question. I've always been kind of drawn to creative things. Writing, music, art, stuff like that. They really make me feel alive.
There you go. That's your Gotham. And just like Batman, you can use that energy, that discipline, and put it towards, your craft, expressing yourself, making a difference through your creativity.
I like that, the Gotham analogy. So finding that purpose, that's step one. What's next in this Joker-Batman balancing act?
Well, remember how the Joker teaches us to embrace the unexpected? That's key to this whole balance thing. What if instead of fearing change, instead of trying to control everything, we just leaned into the uncertainty?
Ooh, that's a scary thought. I like to be in control. But I get what you're saying. It's about shifting our perspective.
Yeah.
See those detours as adventures, not setbacks.
Exactly. Sometimes the best things happen when we step outside that comfort zone, you know? Let life surprise us.
Yeah, it's like life happens when you're busy making other plans. Right?
That's it. And speaking of unexpected, we got to talk about spontaneity. That's pure Joker.
Okay. Yeah.
Bringing in that playful energy, that unpredictability, it can be so freeing. Break free from the routines, try new things, be silly, have fun.
So it's like giving ourselves permission to be a little chaotic.
Yeah.
Let go of that need to always be in control.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Embracing spontaneity doesn't mean we throw all structure out the window. Remember, balance is key. That's where Batman comes in.
Right. We need that grounding, that structure, to keep us from going totally off the rails.
It's like this. Structure gives us that container for both discipline and the spontaneity. Like, imagine a garden. You need good soil, but you also need a framework, to support those beautiful plants.
Okay, I see the bigger picture. But how do we actually create that structure in our lives?
It can be simple things, like having a morning routine, setting aside time for work or creative projects, making a weekly schedule, something with both focused time and time to relax and have fun.
So it's not about being super rigid. It's more like finding a rhythm that works for us, right?
Right. It's a framework that supports both our goals and our well-being, and that can be different for everyone.
This is starting to feel less like balancing and more like a dance, moving between those two energies, the Joker's spontaneity and Batman's discipline, finding that flow.
That's such a great way to put it. It is a dance, a constant process, adjusting, recalibrating. It takes self-awareness.
Speaking of self-awareness, is one more thing we got to talk about, the way we talk to ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Our inner dialogue, that plays a huge role in how we see the world and how we approach this whole balance thing.
So are we channeling our inner critic or our inner cheerleader?
Exactly. If we're always putting ourselves down, focusing on what's wrong, it's going to be tough to embrace that Joker energy or even cultivate that Batman discipline.
Because we're starting from a negative place, right? Like we're already telling ourselves we're not good enough.
It's like having this saboteur in your head always undermining you. But we can change that dialogue. We can choose to see our strengths, celebrate our wins, and practice self-compassion.
So instead of saying, ugh, I messed up, I'm such a failure, we can say, okay, that was a mistake, but I learned something. I'll keep going.
Yes, exactly. Cultivate that inner cheerleader. The voice that believes in you, encourages you. The voice that knows you can do amazing things.
That's such an important reminder. It's not about being perfect. It's about being kind to ourselves. We're all works in progress.
That's it. Big part of finding balance is accepting ourselves just as we are, imperfections and all.
So we've got finding a purpose, embracing the unexpected, a little spontaneity, creating structure, and D, having a positive inner dialogue. That's a whole toolkit for this Joker-Batman dance.
And don't forget, it's a process, an ongoing thing. We'll lean more one way or the other sometimes, and that's okay. Just keep striving for that balance, that place where you feel most yourself, authentic.
It's like we're adjusting our internal compass, making sure we're on course. It's interesting, right? This whole Joker-Batman dance. It's not about picking one or the other. It's about realizing we have both inside us.
Yeah, it really is integrating these seemingly opposite forces, embracing that we are complex.
And that's got to be where the magic is,
Yeah.
right? When we can tap into that spontaneity, but also that focus, that energy.
It's like unlocking a superpower, that ability to, adapt, think outside the box, push boundaries, but at the same time, stay grounded, disciplined, committed.
Makes you wonder, those times we feel out of balance, life throws a curveball, or we're just struggling. What if those are the times we're actually being called to integrate those energies even more?
Right. What if those challenges, those are the opportunities to grow?
Like those moments when it feels like we're falling apart. Maybe that's when we have the most potential to come together, stronger than ever.
It's a process, though, It requires awareness, effort. Got to be mindful of when we're leaning too far one way or the other.
Like constantly fine-tuning our internal compass, making sure we're on course.
And that's where self-reflection is so important. Taking time to check in, ask the tough questions, be honest with ourselves about where we are and where we want to go.
So having those conversations with ourselves, really acknowledging our strengths, our weaknesses, see where we need to grow.
And remember, there's no one right way to find balance. What works for me might not work for you. It's all about experimenting, trying things out, and figuring out what feels right, what's authentic for you.
Like we're each creating our own recipe, right?
Yeah.
For balance, blending in the Joker and Batman in our own unique way.
Exactly. And as we go on this journey, it's helpful to have those reminders, right? Those little nudges.
Like those pictures of the Joker Batman in our heads, the two forces we're trying to bring together.
Yes. So as you go about your day, your week, even just life, ask yourself, where can I embrace a little more of that Joker energy? Where can I bring in some Batman?
It's those little tweaks, those shifts in how we see things that can make a big difference.
And don't forget, it's not about being perfect. It's about progress. Celebrate the wins, big or small, and just be kind to yourself along the way.
Well, there you have it. Who knew Batman and the Joker could teach us so much about finding balance? It's a reminder that life is full of paradoxes. We need the light, A&D, the shadow, chaos and order to truly thrive.
So true. And as you navigate your own life, think about this. What if those tough moments, the times you feel like you're losing your balance, what if those are actually the biggest opportunities for growth? What if they're pushing you to become stronger, more resilient, more balanced?
That's a powerful thought to leave us with. And with that, we'll let you continue your own deep dive. We want to hear your thoughts. What resonated with you? How do you see these characters in your own life? Share it with us on social media. Use hashtag #TheDeepDive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep finding that balance within.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Build Strong Habits. Let us know in the comments how you feel about it and what topics you'd love to hear next. Always remember, we're here to build strong habits together.